Hi there. Okay, this reading is going to be about how can you apply fair relating to the communication in your relationship. So this can be any kind of relationship. It could be between parent and child, lovers, friends, married couple, co-workers, boss, friend, whatever. Okay? However you're drawn here, we're going to apply fair relating. How can you improve the communication with fair relating? How can fair relating be applied to the communication in your relationship, I think is how I'm going to put it. And this is going to be pick 1, pick 2, and pick 3. Okay, so let's... Of course, this is a general reading, so I guess I should have you able to look at the piles while I say this part. It's a general reading, so you'll want to take a deep breath and choose and only take what resonates as truth for you. Okay, so you should always be the final authority on any information. And yeah. Alright, let's get started. Okay, so pick 1. Let's take a look at how you can apply fair relating to the communication in your relationship. Okay, I feel like you're dealing with somebody who, I'm hearing the word miserly, who may feel like they're not really that generous or something. They're kind of holding on to their stuff. Maybe even like a hoarder, right? Like, but it feels like the foundation of the relationship, maybe it's really new, right? And you don't know each other's love language or something, if it is a love relationship. So you don't know, like, how to connect, right? Or maybe it's a well-established relationship and things seem to have changed. Something rocked the foundation of it, and now there's like this need to like hold on tight or something like that, right? And so the foundation doesn't feel secure or is not secure. There's no trading or like gift giving, so that could even be just like trading of like energy exchange. There's I'll turn these to face you, actually. They were facing me, so now I'm going to change them to face you. We've got the walk-in starseed card, so I don't know if you're familiar with starseeds. If you're not, you might want to take a look at what a starseed is and what a walk-in is, okay? I'm going to leave those to you to look into, so many of you who are drawn to this reading may already know what a starseed or a walk-in is, but I believe that is probably the reason why there's like this shakiness. It's like, alright, well, one person has completely upgraded their energy and is trying to shed things really fast, and to the other person that probably feels really shaky and really like, whoa, and like what's going on here, and like I need to hold on to like this, right? Like I'm not getting what I used to out of this relationship, and what I used to give in this relationship isn't working anymore. Something like that. Okay, now we got, here's how you can apply the fair relating to this relationship dynamic. If this fits what you're dealing with, if this sounds true to you, this is what the advice is. Hold space for the other. Know they can heal and understand, and expect the best for them. So even if someone was like ill, or someone was like having a bad time or a bad mood or whatever, you don't like go to your girlfriends and talk about it and tell all the family members that this person's struggling and this person's a jerk or this person's not the same or you're really worried about what's going on. No, fair relating says that you hold space for this person for whatever they're going through. You understand they're going through something, whatever it may be, right? And you hold the space knowing that they can traverse whatever it is, but also hold the space for yourself, knowing that you can traverse whatever it is as well. Expect the best for yourself. Expect the best for them. know that whatever it is that's happening here, it's some sort of upgrade. And it can be expected that everyone will come out with things that are in the best interest for them in place. And the other advice here that came out, and I'm going to get a couple more from the deck, is spend time alone. Okay? So where your instincts or your insecurities might be feeling the need to grab on and hold tight, it's actually suggesting a fair way to deal with this would be to give everyone their space to be alone. Because when we're alone, we see ourselves. When we're alone, we can deal with ourselves. We can understand ourselves. We have time to be self-sufficient, to be sovereign, to give ourselves what we need. And that's really the basis for a fair relationship, a fair relating dynamic, is based on being sovereign, being able to fill up our own cup. And the next card that came out is, let them dislike you in peace. Okay? So even if it's a feeling like you're just not getting along like you used to, or someone's angry at you, or if it's a coworker and you just can't build together, you can't build a rapport with each other, you just don't get each other. You feel like maybe you feel like someone is a thief or something like that, right? You can dislike them in peace, right, by giving them space, or you can let them dislike you in peace. If you're feeling like someone's disliking you, let them do that in peace. Like, you don't have to fight them, you don't have to convince them otherwise, you don't have to take offense to it. It's just where they're at, right? It's just, there's no basis to build on right now, but it doesn't mean there couldn't be in the future. It just means that right now it's best to like leave this alone, to give space and to hold space. Meaning, if you want certain results that are in the best interest of everybody, not just you, but everybody, and you may not know what that is, so you may have to give it to God or a higher power or whatever it is you believe in, but you hold the space for the best outcome for all parties, knowing that that could be the case. And that will be the case when you hold the space. But that will not be the case if you do anything else. If you start gossiping or putting energy towards the dislike, or start a war, or try to convince somebody, or expect of somebody. None of that is fair. None of that is going to work here. Okay, and then the last card here for this reading is, do you love the totality of their existence, or the fragments of them that cater to you? Okay, so maybe it's like, well, I could tolerate them. I tolerated them when they were giving me something, when I got something out of this, but I'm not getting nothing from this person. And it's like, well, they are a whole person and they have their own moving parts. And the same with you. Maybe they liked you when you were giving to them. When they got something from you, then you were a priority for them, and then you were important to them. But now that you're not, that's when what the issues came in. Well, it's like, if somebody doesn't like the totality of who you are, giving them space to spend time alone seems like a very fair way of handling that, right? Because you don't have to prove yourself to anyone. You don't have to change anyone's mind. You just have to love yourself through however you feel about what's going on. There's a part of you that may need your love. In the same way, instead of expecting of somebody else to be different, you have to ask yourself, do you love the totality of their existence, which includes this time they're in now, where they can't serve, where they can't give, or just the fragments of them that cater to you, meaning the parts of them that used to serve you in ways, is that the only thing that you really liked about them? And then, and so once you consider these things, you can kind of let yourself balance it out. This is, I understand this is a very humbling process, right? If we've been used to relating in a different way. But this is a chance for freedom for all parties, where no one has to be blamed or shamed or finger pointed, and we're not using each other to project upon. We're just letting things be as they are. We're accepting people as they are, where they're at, and we're not feeding off of them or needing them to be different or needing something from them to fulfill our own selves. We fulfill our own selves, and we let others do the same. And those that are not fulfilling themselves, we hold space for them, knowing that they can get there. That's what fair relating is. So I hope you like this reading. It's something you may be well aware of, and if you're reading energy, I'm sure that you understand that this makes complete sense. So I hope this is helpful to you in some way. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you spending your time with me. Please consider giving the video a like if you do like it, and maybe we'll see you next time. Take care, pick one. Okay, if you chose pick 2, this is your reading. We are looking at how can you apply fair relating to the communication in your relationship, whatever relationship this is. Let's take a look. Looks like this relationship, let's see, we got reptilian, but it's in the reverse. So it's been very calculated, maybe not a lot of instinct. It says yes, you got a yes. So if you had a question about the relationship, it's a yes. I have your back, but it's in reverse. And then distance travel. Upright. Okay, this may be a long distance relationship where everything has to be planned out. This may be someone you met while you were traveling. This may be someone you've never met, but that you view as kind of animalistic or lesser or a player or something like that. Let's see. This doesn't give me a lot to go on. let me just ask my guides here for anything more that I need to mention about this relationship. What does reptilian in reverse mean? It's a soul lesson. It's not an earthly lesson. It's a soul lesson. You may be astral traveling to meet up with this person, right? It's not. This relationship might not even be with somebody who's on Earth. Like it could be with a spirit or a soul, or you could be relating to someone who's on Earth, but you're relating with their soul aspect at this point in the astrals, right? Yeah. Yes. Yes. Or it could be with like a passed on loved one or an ancestor, a guide. Yes, this relationship could be something that's spiritual, etheric. Maybe you're questioning your guides. Okay, that may be just for a few of you. Let's see, anything else here? What's the yes about? The yes is just for anyone who had a question coming into it, like is this relevant to me? Is this something I should be even messing with? Like, is this person like, you know, what's this person about? It's like, yes, this is an experience that you were meant to have, right? And you don't feel safe in it, I think. Like, you definitely don't feel like anyone has your back. Like, you have to have your own back in this. And maybe it's your instincts telling you that. And maybe you feel like you're going against your instincts to be in this, because maybe there's a part of you that knows that this is just a lesson. Okay, I'm going to go with that. Now let's see what the cards came out. In order to apply fair relating to this relationship, we got the answer is within. Okay, so that's why they're giving this really ambiguous kind of information here. It's like, and I just gotta say, I used the word ambiguous a lot today. I watched a reading where someone said that, and it was like so resonant for me that I definitely got called out. And I've just been so hyper aware of it and just trying to work on it within myself. But like, the answer is within. It's like, it's kind of the reason why I do stay ambiguous in my communications in general, is because I do want people to go within themselves. I don't want to tell people exactly what to do. I want I'm talking to their subconscious. Their subconscious will fill in all the cracks. Their subconscious will lead them to the right place to be in accordance with what I've said, you know? So that's the reason why I use ambiguity, but it's also how it was used on me. And how I got to... That's just my water pump, so bear with me. So it's how I got to trust myself, right? Is dealing with situations that were ambiguous, that I had to tune in, that I had to use my own intuition. So maybe there was part of you that wanted to be in this interaction with this person, whatever it may be, on whatever terms, even if it's a spirit. But there was another part of you that was like, well, this seems like, you know? All right, so this is what else the card says. What would love do? What is in, and then insert your name's best interest. What is in your best interest? What would love do? That's how you insert fair relating into this relationship. And then we got let it go. Accept how you feel in the surrender. Okay? So whatever the trouble is, whatever the thing that you couldn't accept, wherever you felt the resistance, let it go. And then what does it feel like when you let it go? That part of you will appreciate having your attention and your presence and your love. So when you let this go, you take your focus right back in on yourself and you say, how do I feel now? And maybe there's a part of you that will be scared or sad or miss it or want it back or feel offended or feel used or feel exposed or feel vulnerable. That is the part of you that needs your love, that needs your acceptance, right? That needs your presence. So this is how you balance out the energy within this dynamic, which seems like there was a lot of tension. Like, can I trust this? What is this? It feels like I need to do it, but it doesn't feel right, kind of thing. So what would love do? What is in your best interest? And I just want to get a couple more cards from this fair relating deck that I've got. Okay. And we got be still and listen. So yeah, you really are being invited towards your own intuition for this situation. Like, you can guide yourself, you can trust yourself, and they're hoping maybe that this explanation and this reading will help you trust yourself, because it's like sort of like validating that yes, what you felt all along, that you need to go through it, but that it's kind of like and that there's something to learn here. That's true, right? And then part ways. So they are outright saying that the fair way to handle this, you might find when you let it go and when you do what's in your best interest, would be to part ways. Okay? But I think then in that case, because they had the yes, I think they really want to reassure you that it wasn't because it wasn't something you were supposed to not be dealing with, right? It wasn't a mistake, it wasn't bad, it was something you really learned from. You learned from this situation, and stuff that was important for you to learn, that will help you in your travels, that will help you to go the distance, is what I heard. Yeah, and maybe it's a big lesson in trusting yourself and listening to yourself, right? Which you know you can do now, and maybe you knew you could do all along. Okay, that feels complete. Pick 2. I hope that it's helpful to you in some way. And I'm going to end the reading there and move on to pick 3. Bye now. Hi, pick 3. Okay, we are asking for messages about how you can apply fair relating to the communication in your relationship. So whatever relationship that is, let's take a look. It is a relationship where there have been many challenges and ups and downs. And they're saying, just ask. So perhaps this is a question that you can directly ask the person that you're thinking about. Maybe that's part of it, right? Like, maybe when you ask, then they know you care. Maybe when you ask, they can tell you something that you wouldn't be able to pick up from this general reading here, right? So then we got celebration in reverse. So maybe you haven't yet been able to appreciate what all these ups and downs have brought you to. And it's saying joint venture. So both parties had a role to play in this, and the ups and downs were part of it. And the ups and downs have brought you to this place where apparently there's possibly some questions about what's right, how to handle this, what does this person want, what are their intentions, how can we get through the next part of this, like, can you celebrate how far you've come? Like, maybe that's something that needs to be done. Like, even if you're in a place where you're not exactly happy with, what it is, this is a joint venture. So there's something that both parties are learning or involved in within this. And I think that by asking the other party, you involve them in the growth that's happening here. And that will help this be more fair. So let's see what the cards say. It says forgiveness formula. So perhaps there is something to forgive, right? Something that you both went through together in order to learn something. And perhaps what you're learning is how to better communicate, right? It's like, so forgiveness formula is accept how you feel first. Be with your feelings. So you feel angry, maybe you feel disappointed, you feel tired, you feel exhausted, you feel doubtful, you feel like underappreciated, you feel like there's no fun, you feel like it's all work, you feel like you don't know what to do to please this person, you don't know how to give back to this, you don't know what this person expects from you. Yeah. Like, so these are all the things, and then it's like, how do you feel about all those ways you feel, or any of those ways that you feel? Be with your feelings, accept how you feel. It's okay to feel that way. It's understandable that you feel that way. You know the reasons why you feel that way, they're completely valid. You've been in this situation and experienced that thing, and now you feel this way, and that's your feeling to be with. Okay, and once you've fully accepted and loved the part of you that feels those ways and validated how you feel, it's going to be a lot easier to look at how they might be feeling in the situation, which you might need to ask them, or you might need to just think about it, and then accept how they might be feeling in the situation, which, I'm going to repeat that you may need to ask them, right? But I wouldn't ask them until you've first accepted how you feel and have been with your feelings. Because if you go to ask somebody something like that, like what they expect or need, without having honored how you feel first, you may feel defensive, and you may feel like there's an imbalance, like you're not being tended to in the situation, like you have to give more than you have to give. So as long as you have filled up your own cup by accepting and loving the way you feel, then when you go in, you're not having to have an agenda with it. It's like whatever the answer is, you're accepting of that, whatever it is. Right? So you're not trying to coerce or get from or change the outcome. It's just like that's what it is. And then the other card you got is communicate using I statements. Okay, so when you ask, it's not like you did this and I want to know why. It's like, I feel this and I'm wondering why you did that. Or I feel curious about what your expectations are for this situation. Or I wonder what you think of the challenges we've been facing. Or I wonder how devoted you are to this. Or I wonder if you want to go celebrate how far we've come. Using I statements makes it so that the other person also doesn't have an agenda, because they can't argue with how you say you feel. And if you use I statements, that's what you're speaking about. Okay, so you could even be saying that they're a jerk, but if you just say it like that, then that's going to start a war, because they may feel like defending themselves. But if you say, I feel like you were a jerk, or I feel like you're being a jerk to me, they can't argue with how you say you feel. You're using an I statement, okay? So it's a real fair way of relating, because it lets the person know that it's your feeling. It's your projection. It's your perception. It's not that you're telling them they are wrong. You're telling them how you feel, right? You know, sometimes it's good to tell somebody that you think they're a jerk, or because then they know how they're being perceived, and then they know why there's so much trouble and tension and things like that, right? So look at this. It says, name 3 ways the opposite is also true. So let's take the example of this person's a jerk, right? So you know the ways and the reasons why you think they're a jerk. I'm sure you've thought about them, and you know very well why you think they're a jerk. Now, can you think about 3 ways this person is not a jerk? Okay? And you might need to meditate on it. You might need to really take your time. You might need to think in abstract terms. You might need to look at small gestures, you know? But if you can take the time to think of 3 ways that they're not a jerk, then you've balanced out that energy. And that is a very fair thing to do. Because people are not just one thing. People are a lot of things. People have many different aspects. People are fragmented in some cases, and you might be dealing with a little hurt version of them that needs love and is kind of like being the bodyguard or the bully on the playground to protect them from anyone getting close, you know. You might be dealing with a part of them that is just so absorbed in self, you know, that was their coping mechanism. You don't really you can't really sum up a person but with one label, right? We're a lot of things. And then you got let it go, accept how you feel in the surrender. Okay, so what you can't, when you do assess how you feel, instead of, you know, taking it all to this person to just ask and using I statements, maybe it's just like some of that can be let go. Once you accept how you feel, that might be enough for some of it, right? And then when you let it go, how do you feel about that? Oh yeah, I just got that, as like, that could be reminiscent of times where you're, maybe in your family relating dynamic, there was times when things got brushed under the carpet. Like in a lot of families I've noticed where there's dysfunctional relating habits, and children are projected upon and expected of, the habit is that when there's a fight or a blow up or a challenge, that we don't talk about it after, we just let it blow over, and then we brush it under the carpet. So then everyone has to walk on eggshells, right? Because we're not allowed to like go around that topic. We're not allowed to express how we feel. And that's how we get these places where we're very defensive and we're very like sensitive about how we're treated and things like that. That's what it comes from. So there may be some parts of this that you can let go just by accepting how you feel. Like this is a joint venture where 2 people came together, in whatever capacity that you come together with this person, to kind of help each other heal by poking what hurts in each other, right? So the intentions of each person, you know, what they may or may not be conscious of this, right? It could be on a soul level that this agreement was made, and so there may not be full consciousness of the fact that you're working together in this way. So, but if you know that, you're aware of that because you're here and you care about something like fair relating and communicating effectively, then you know that just tending to yourself can be enough, you know, and only go to this person where you need to, right? Where you need to express to them. And you'll know what that is. You will be very, very clear on what that is after you do the work of accepting how you feel. Because accepting how you feel is going to allow the veil that you were seeing life through, of that thing, of the wound, to be integrated into you. And then you won't see through the veil of your own wounding anymore, because you've tended to it, you've accepted it, you've integrated it into you, and now it is wisdom gained. So now you see past it, you understand that that's a possibility for people to feel that way, and the opposite is also a possibility for people to feel. And with that acceptance, you can kind of see just things from a bigger picture. And the more things you accept and love about yourself, the bigger your picture gets. Okay, so you'll definitely be more clear and know very well what it is that you need to express to this other person and what you might need to ask them. And it may not be every little thing that you've realized through this process, right? Okay. Whew. Well, that was very interesting. I enjoyed that very much. I hope this is helpful to you, Pick 3. I want to thank you for being here, and we'll see you next time. Bye now.